So what do we need to thrive? What are the elements of well-being? There has been a lot of research done, and I'm just going to show you some highlights, but if you're interested, you can anytime reach out and I'll provide you with more references and more great reading resources that can help you understand these elements of the well-being, and also some studies that will illustrate this in a very practical ways. So there are three key elements that are crucial for fostering well-being. The first one would be feeling self-directed. The second one, feeling competent. And the third one, feeling connected. And this is called 3 basic psychological needs. Those 3 needs are the basis for the theory of self-determination, which is a fantastic theory which describes and differentiates what humans, what all of us, depending where we are coming from, which age we are, what we really need to thrive in our lives. And they define those 3 needs. Autonomy as the need to determine the course of one's own actions in life and act in harmony with own interests and values. Competence would be the need to feel effective and contribute to the greater good and the welfare of society and of others. And relatedness, the need to feel deep connection and attachment to other people. And then there is something really important to distinguish needs from our wants and wishes and intentions and so on, is that irrespective of what we personally believe about those needs, or we believe that this theory is right or wrong, the satisfaction of those 3 things will bring us the higher levels of well-being. In contrast to when those 3 needs are not satisfied, either we believe in them or not, they will influence our well-being in a detrimental way. The authors of this theory, Ryan and Daisy, describe it in a similar way as, for example, vitamin C. So whatever you think about vitamin C, that it's important, crucial or not, its deprivation is going to lead to scurvy. And this is the same with those basic psychological needs. And the other thing is, this is why this theory is called the self-determination theory, because when those 3 needs are satisfied, they're releasing our superpower, our intrinsic motivation, our self-determination to do great things in life. And now the next big question is, how do we satisfy those basic psychological needs? Because in ideal world, just hearing, oh, we have those needs would immediately mean that we can tomorrow do something about them and bring more well-being into our lives. But I'm going to show you in the next couple of slides that the situation is a little bit more complicated than that. So there is a connection between our needs and values and behaviors, what I like to call the cause and effect relationship between those elements that ultimately determines our levels of well-being. And I always like to represent it in form of this apple tree, analogy of the apple tree, which I call the tree of life. And I'm going to show you how this works, how this interaction works. So in the basis of this tree, the root of this tree are our 3 basic needs for autonomy, relatedness, and competence. And we have a natural human tendency, just because we're human, we have the tendency to satisfy our 3 basic psychological needs. And then the situation gets a little bit complicated. So we strive to meet those needs by acting on the values that we believe are important for feeling autonomous, related, and competent. And the thing is, what makes each of us unique is that we all have a different blueprint of our own values. So the way how we search our need, for example, for competence, to satisfy our need for competence, will be very different. I'll pick different values than you or your brother or a person with your same name that lives in the other part, on the other part of the world. And then the purpose of those values and of our value system is to help us choose between different behaviors that on a daily basis, which supposed to serve to satisfaction of our values, through which we will satisfy our basic needs. And if there is one thing that you will take away from this webinar, please make it this idea of how our needs and values and behaviors are connected. And when they work, all three, when they are aligned and work together, what we have is this nice blooming tree that bears a lot of fruits. We have a good level of well-being.